Hell yeah. What's going on, dude?
Got way too much time on my hands.
You do have a lot of time in your hands. That fucking, let me see your spot. That looks kind of nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, was it worth the fucking $6,000 that you had to spend to get that couch there, though?
Hindsight, probably not, but
Dude, so funny. So yesterday, we'll get into it in a second, but yesterday I posted that picture of that like shitty chicken fried rice I made, which actually it was pretty good. I'll be honest, it's
didn't
pretty
see
good.
it. But
Yeah, you're not on, but you're smart. You're not on Instagram. Like you stay away.
yeah,
I'm just on there. Like I started following this one account. It's like an artsy account, so it has, like all these like, filtered pictures of like hot people doing hot things. And I used to follow those, but they would never tag the person who was in the picture, which is good because I don't need to follow that person. And now I found this new one where they tag everybody. And now I'm just going, it's just, I gotta purge again. Anyway, it's a fucking disaster. You're smart. You're avoiding it. And I'm
I
just,
do my best.
yeah, fucking.
The boredom creeps in every now and then.
Makes you feel alive. It's like, well, how old is she? But so I posted this picture and it was just like, this thing sucked. And this fucking comic, this fucking loser, he screenshots the picture that I posted. And then he posted on his story. He's like, a lot of people are suffering right now. And this is not the time to post dinner pictures. And so somebody else sent me the picture of that guy's, forwarded me his story.
Yeah.
So then I, screenshotted his, shitting on mine, and then tagged him in it, and was like, "Dude, are we pretending like something else happened today other than the C- dish? What are we doing?" And then the dude gets in my DM and he's like, "Yeah, man, I think that was pretty reckless of you." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Did you think that my fucking picture of chicken fried rice was going to solve racism in this country? The fuck are you doing? Go make a meme, you fucking cunt." All right, sorry, ran over. Shit pissed me off.
Yeah, that would be fucking annoying. Dude,
It's fucking
real swab.
yeah, fucking social justice warrior. It's like, dude, it's like you wear boots in the summer. Shut up.
What did you do today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you made a meme about politics. It's like Mitch McConnell. It's like, shut up. Anyway, all right, dude, let's get into it. So, I'll probably do an intro, but maybe I won't do an intro. We're just gonna go right into it. We're covering the postseason, and usually I try to avoid doing sports ones because I feel like doing a solo sports pod, you feel like a cunt. I feel like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I don't
the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like, what am I doing? At least like when a guy like anybody that has a solo sports pod, they usually have somebody there they're talking to, which kind of gives me more perspective on Russillo because Russillo does his, but he pretty much does it alone.
Yeah. I mean, he has guests on every now and then, but it's only for like part of the segment usually. Or whatever, part of the pod.
He had somebody else on. He just had somebody on today. I forget who it was. Brandon Marshall, not the receiver, the other one.
Oh, the linebacker?
Yeah. And it's just fucking sucked. The guy's so boring. Some of these fucking athletes
aren't that interesting.
Dude, he had DeMarcus Ware on, and DeMarcus Ware the whole thing was him just plugging a company the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird.
What are we doing? All right, where do you want to start? So we're doing NFL postseason preview. We'll do the first round. Do you want to start AFC or NFC?
I don't care.
All right, I have the AFC on top. So Chiefs have the number one seed. They have the bye. So let's go. Let's start with the 4 versus 5. So we've got Tennessee versus Baltimore, and it's like home field advantage. It's weird because home field advantage doesn't mean anything. Like I don't
exactly. So
it's like I mean, I feel like it's such a big deal in the NFL. I feel like, right? Don't you think so?
Yeah, it definitely is. It plays a huge factor, I think. Sunday to Sunday.
But it's not as big of a factor as like in the NBA, right? Do you think it's more in the NBA than it is in the NFL?
No, I think it's way more in the NFL, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
It's like, what does it really affect in the NBA? Like, it actually changes the game sometimes in the NFL.
In what way?
Like just like your ability to do stuff at the line of scrimmage on offense, or like you might rack up more penalties with like, false starts or dumb shit like that.
Yeah, you know all about false starts. Dude,
Getting off late, stuff like that, because you can't hear the snap count.
yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, I don't
Or
know.
if you have to go to a silent count, then like I hate silent count more than anything, because you're out there at tackle trying to block a freaking 9 technique on 3rd and 10, and I'm looking inside of the ball waiting for it to get snapped, not even looking at the guy.
What was who was the didn't Florida used to do that thing where they would do a silent count where like the center would just snap his neck to the side and then someone else would like touch the center when to snap it? Is that not technically silent count?
Yeah. A lot of teams, there's different ways to do it. That's one of the most common, I think. Like, it's just like there's different. A lot of teams do like different head bobs for different counts or something.
Okay, so when you would do it when you were playing, a silent count was it? You have to just know when the ball is snapped. You have to look at the ball.
Well, usually what you're looking for is like the center's head's coming up, and usually it's like 1,001 count from when his head comes up to when he snaps the ball, depending on what the actual count is. 1, 2, or like sometimes when you see the head twist, a lot of the time is like you're going on like a long one is what they call it, or a largo is what a lot of people call it. So you go like head up and then they twist and then snap it.
That sounds like the least fun thing because you don't
really just have to do this stuff just because these pass rushers are so good that they'll just start teeing off on your snap count. It's a nightmare.
What was the worst you ever got teed off on either be it practice, be it a game? What was the worst? Who got you?
Von Miller every day of my life.
Was he mean with it too? Was he trying to? Or he just that's how he always played?
Like he'll like talk shit sometimes, but that's about it. He's a nice guy. He's funny though. He's like a funny talk shit guy, not like a serious talk shit guy.
Yeah. You see we don't got to get into too much gossip. You see him and his girl with their whole thing right now?
Yeah, I saw some of it. I don't really know how much of that is legit, but
dude, that's the problem with the shit right now. It's like if you get into a text conversation, they can just manipulate that. There are apps you can have that you can. It's so easy to manipulate a fucking text conversation. Right. But some of the stuff that he was saying, if he did say it, is hilarious.
Pretty dark.
It's dark, but it's also like he doesn't mean that.
No, I don't think so. Some people just say fucked up shit.
Oh yeah, when you get into a fight with someone that you say, yeah, you should say I love you too. It's like no one has a good breakup like that where it's like, love you, babe. Hope you do great things. No. Right. All right, so let's get into it. So we got Tennessee, Baltimore. It doesn't really but I feel like Tennessee can have fans though.
They might have limited capacity, but it's not really enough to like affect the games. I don't think as much. The noise level just isn't the same. Like the quarterback's voice is loud enough that it doesn't really affect like snap count, stuff like that.
Sure, that makes sense. Who you got? Who's your pick? We'll start with your pick. Give me your pick, and then we'll go just like highlights of what you think is going to matter, or just something you have about that.
So this is probably easily, I think, going to be the most competitive game of the whole like first round actually. But I'm going with the Ravens actually. I think their defense and special teams is as good as anybody else's in the playoffs. Their run game is dangerous. The only question mark is really the consistency in their passing game. But I don't know. It's kind of just a gut pick. If I'm going with it, it's a toss-up in my mind.
Isn't it weird how Lamar Jackson is like he was overrated and then he was underrated, won an MVP.
Right.
And then we just didn't hear about him. Like he had COVID. He missed like 2 or 3 games. He had this quiet like resurgence.
Yeah.
Got them back. And he's not in anybody's conversation. But I do think Baltimore, because I picked Baltimore as well, I do think they are kind of a sleeper because, I mean, whose radar are they on?
Yeah, I think they're getting hot at the right time. This is the reason I took them, really. They've played really good football down the stretch. Yeah,
they're kind of like Tennessee was last year.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like Tennessee got hot at the end of the tail end of the season, and then they're kind of like I'm not a big Vrabel guy, and I think I should be. I think I should like the guy more, But I don't know. Something about Vrabel just kind of, I'm like, I feel like you just want to headbutt every referee you've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in their defensive front either. Their back end is really good, but they're big up front, but they're not great pass rushers or all that athletic.
It's so funny to like whenever talking to you guys, like I remember like back in college, it was talking to you and Tom and Booty. Most of my friends were big guys. Even the tight ends are all big guys. And just I remember watching NFL games with you guys, and you guys watch the front seven. And all I do is watch the skill guys, and I have zero concept of what's going on inside.
Yeah,
And then even when I watch the game today, I'm like, the big guys, they'll figure it out.
they're doing their thing.
They're just,
Yeah, they're doing it.
is I know, yeah, Quentin Nelson, he's great. And then, yeah, I mean, plus I think as much as I love Derrick Henry, because I do think it's cool to see like a back who is the transcendent back, who he doesn't have a back. He's a backup, but he doesn't have a backup. Everyone else is just committee, especially Baltimore. Baltimore's running. I mean, Mark Ingram was a dude for like, dude in New Orleans, had a great season last year, the year before that. And then this year, he's kind of taken a back seat to a guy named Gus. And J.K. Dobbins is also really nice. But I think that running game who controls the ball, right? Who makes the least amount of mistakes? And I feel like they've really go.
This is just like a classic like NFL playoff matchup where it's going to be like a 14-17 game. You know what I mean? Whoever has 2 turnovers loses. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Okay, you have for the next 3 seasons, you have Tannehill or Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah, that's not a good question.
Right, but then Tannehill's the guy getting paid.
Yeah,
the guy that all of a sudden everybody trusts him. All of a sudden, everyone's like, "Man, I really trust this guy."
He did go on a nice run last year. Like he came up money in the playoffs. I honestly, this is a Lamar Jackson bet for me. I think this is like the reason I picked the Ravens is because I'm just betting that he's not going to be bad in the playoffs again, basically.
Yeah, you gotta imagine that's on his head, that's on his mind. But then some of these young guys, I feel like they don't like really give a shit about like, it's like the James Harden thing. Like, when James Harden, like, oh, he's terrible in the postseason. I don't think those guys even care about how they play in the play. They care about how they play in the postseason, but like they don't think of like getting monkeys off their back the way I feel like Peyton Manning and Drew Brees had. Like the amount of pressure those dudes had early on, I think that really got to them early on in their career. Like, oh, you haven't won a playoff game in a while? I think Lamar Jackson, these guys are so young. Well, how old is Lamar Jackson? 22, 23?
Shit, I don't even know, man.
He's a young.
Maybe
He's a.
24.
You gotta lie. You gotta just lie and say he's like 28. Oh yeah, he's 28.
Definitely under 26.
All right, so we both take Baltimore.
Oh, you took Baltimore too? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I took Baltimore. I snuck it in there really nice. But I should have just like snuck it in there, then just not said anything, and then.
Do you want to say
they
that I
lose.
feel like the Titans skill guys are really underrated, like outside of Derrick Henry. I like Johnny Smith. I like AJ Brown. I like Corey Davis.
Johnny Smith's a fucking freak. Where did he come from? I'm gonna look it up right now because he's a guy. He's like, is it? You know, like there are these I feel like tight ends come out of nowhere more than ever in the league now. Like Kittle was a guy who I'm pretty sure he had like 14 catches in college. Like he was a big. He was a top, like I don't know, like 12 or 15 draft pick, which everyone thought was wild. But let's see.
He was like a 3rd rounder.
No, I'm pretty sure Kittle was like a first. Or am I thinking of your guy out there in Denver?
Yeah, he's my guy out there in Denver.
He was a top pick. Yeah, Florida International.
Hawkinson too.
Florida International was the guy. Hawkinson can go fucking suck a dick. That guy, every time I think he's gonna do something, he does fucking nothing for me, dude.
I traded for him like 8 weeks into the season. He actually came up kind of money.
Yeah, but fantasy, dude, I had such a hard time not going back in and looking at that week that I lost to Boyce, because if I had started Jalen Hurts, I would have lost by 5. And I didn't want to look any farther because I know I probably had like another 8 points, 9 points on my bench, and I couldn't help myself. I couldn't look.
I would have started David Johnson instead of Cam Akers. I would have beaten with no in the semis, and then I put up 200 points the next week, which would have been the finals.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't really knock you for that.
I lost by half a point.
You can't. But
Oh,
yeah, but
it
you
was
can't really
David
knock you for
Johnson
that,
against
though.
the Bears defense, though. That was why. And then it was it was the Rams against the Jets, and the Jets just kicked the shit out of the Rams. Who saw that coming?
Dude,
All-time
I
dude.
love that the Jets have like kind of played themselves out of the first pick, but we'll just
Right
go
at the
on a
end of the
fucking
year.
well, yeah, we'll go on a side tangent though. So I mean, technically all tangents are side. That was redundant. Is Justin Fields stock higher right now?
I mean, yeah, that's what the hot take guys are saying. He's good though. I mean, he's who knows? Who knows with those guys?
And there's nothing corny. Dude, I just fucking I can't handle what the fuck is his name? Trevor Lawrence. It's just like, dude, you know what? We get it. You know what? We get it.
You got the Jesus hair. You like Jesus. We get it.
Him and Tim Tebow used to jerk off together in middle school. We understand. I mean, like he'll probably be great, but also I have a hard time believing anybody going to Jacksonville and turning that place around. I mean, there's just some teams where it's like, I don't know if you're ever gonna be like you can't. It's like the Phoenix Suns in the NBA. Like, oh yeah, they could be cool, but even when they were great, it was like we never really believed that they were gonna be an NBA champ. You know what I mean?
They're best there in the conference finals. Sounds like the Suns.
Yeah, right. And they were pretty good. I read that book, that 24 seconds or less. That it was interesting. I remember reading that book, and the guy was kind of just shitting on like Robert Sarver the entire time, the guy that wrote it, and how he was like difficult to deal with. And I don't remember a whole lot about the book, but I remember Amari Stoudemire being really interesting. Like he took wine baths.
What?
So there's a spa in Phoenix, and their like new agey thing was you get into like a giant hot tub of heated up red wine.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. So weird. And then he would and he was one of those first guys that would walk around wearing, like Rolling Stones t-shirts.
Yeah.
He'd wear all classic, rock band shirts.
Yeah.
There was like graphic tees before. They're kind of bigger now, but back then no one was really, unless you were a nerd.
Right. Yeah, it was me and Amari Stoudemire rocking those. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, just you and Amari Stoudemire rocking double XLs.
Yeah.
But he did it, and I remember like in the book, one of the one of the GMs was like, or one of the coaches was like, "What do you name their best song?" And then Amari Stoudemire just goes, "No, I can't. But the shirt is dope. Like, get away from me." And I was like, at the time, I was like, that's weird. But now I really understand it. Because I'll rock a Tool shirt tomorrow. I don't care.
See, I can't do that. I feel like phony.
Yeah, but it's not. Okay, but all fashion is phony.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, though. So
now you got a little bit of swag. You got some big guy swag.
Yeah, but it's all me, baby.
I think you're gonna be a bowler shirt guy, I think, for the rest of your life. You're gonna start rocking the button down, but not like the Charlie Sheen, like the one where you're gonna try and catch HIV. I mean, like the kind where like you look kind of slick in it. It's like slimming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I got plenty of those.
I'm so upset that you got your haircut and it looks good.
You want to hit the next matchup?
Yeah, we can
reel us back in.
Okay, yeah. This is good that I have you on here for that because I'll talk about men's fashion and your haircut all day. All right, so let's go 3 versus 6. We got Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I'll start this one.
Yo.
It's kind of this is where I think the trap is because Cleveland has all those COVID issues, right?
Right. So many question marks.
And I don't really believe in this Pittsburgh team.
They have their own question marks. You're right about that.
Well, remember when they almost lost 4 straight to end the season, and they had that comeback win against Indy that they should have Indy just shit the bed. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's a big deal when a guy like Stefanski's not gonna be there.
Yeah, I think he's a good head coach. I was a big fan of that hire when it happened last offseason.
Yeah, R.I.P. Freddie Kitchens.
Tough defense right there of hiring that guy.
That was like the second season of Flavor of Love. It's like, what are we doing here?
But one thing I'll say is I don't know that, Ben and Mike Tomlin are going to get rattled out of nowhere. I mean, those dudes are consummate vets. They know what they're about. They were resting guys down the stretch, a little banged up down the stretch. They might be getting right in time. The big question with them is their pass rush. When they lost Bud Dupree, they lost a lot of – because that dude's just burning off the edge the whole game, forcing quarterbacks to step up right into Cam Hayward. So that's going to be – that's what really kind of has led to a lot of their struggles down the stretch. So I'll be interested to see if they can keep a pass rush going in that game.
Yeah, but also, I mean, Cleveland's weird because Baker Mayfield has these really weird tendencies, right? Where he's better on the run. He's better when they're rolling him out. If they make him sit in the pocket, it's almost like he's not going to pick you apart the way that this whole year was just them running play action. We're going to get play action. We're going to get him moving.
Right. And they do have a really good running game and a line, but they're going to have to get that going before the boot game gets going like that.
What do you think of the theory that Cleveland's better without OBJ? Is there any truth to that? Because I feel like
I don't think so.
Because Baker came out, because I heard it, and it seems like it's one of those just narrative things you want. It's fun to say. It's like, let's get him out of here. It's like when someone gets hurt in the NBA, and they're like, oh, look,
a lot of these quarterbacks struggled early on,
Yeah, Baker was trying to – I saw an interview Baker did where he said that, like, they didn't have the time to work with the offense, with the route concepts. What Stefanski was trying to teach, they didn't have the time because of COVID. Yeah, I don't think that's true either, but it is kind of – I mean, that guy – OBJ is like this transcendent athletic talent, but then now it's the point where he hasn't done anything in a while.
Now with the injuries piling up, you wonder if he's going to be the same anymore.
Is he? Yeah, but he's the kind. I mean, well, I think a good comparison is like him and like Russell Westbrook. Like when Russ is like peak Russ, he's the most athletic guy on the court. He's great. But then he had the injury, and we're like, wow, is Russ going to be like the same? And then he was the same. And then he won an MVP. He had back-to-back knee surgeries in consecutive seasons, and it didn't really no, they're like meniscus. It wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah, they weren't major, but yeah, I remember.
I don't know. I just think that I don't know. I like OBJ, but sometimes I feel like it's like, where's he going to go though? People are like, he's got to go somewhere else. Where are you going to put him? Like, where does he fit in somebody? Like, you can't really just plug him into anybody and be like, all right, he's going to be our – I mean, maybe watch him end up like Tampa Bay and do like what Antonio Brown's doing.
That'd be crazy.
So you're on Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I wrote down –
more of a loyalty thing than anything.
Yeah, you like those guys. You're biased. I think I wrote down Pitt, but I think I'm going to go Cleveland just because I'm going to go Cleveland.
COVID distraction is going to play into it, and it's just going to make it tough for them. I don't know.
I think it's going to be tough for them, but I also haven't seen – I think the skill guys in Pittsburgh haven't been playing.
No, yeah, they've been super inconsistent. That's kind of what I'm worried about, but law averages, I guess they'll bounce back.
What do you think they were telling Juju with the dancing and stuff like that? Because I don't think Tomlin gave a fuck. I don't think if they hadn't lost the game to, then they wouldn't have said anything. And I don't think it even really matters.
I mean, ultimately it doesn't. It's just a bad look.
But does Tomlin care about that?
Yeah, no, he didn't until he did. I'm sure, probably. You know what I mean? Until it became a problem, it wasn't a problem.
Sure, like when I used to wear fucking multiple arm sleeves in high school. They're like, hey, as long as you keep catching the ball, it's fine. And then I dropped like 4 in one game. We almost lost, and I had to take the sleeves off.
Real thing. Fumbled the ball one time because of that.
Yeah. It's like Corey Mitchell did that. I think he wore long sleeve one day in a playoff game and muffed a kickoff return, and then he took the sitters on the sidelines and he cut the sleeves off on the sideline. I love that move.
Yeah.
Plus white guys with tattoos, you can't wear sleeves anyway. You got to have them out.
You're a no sleeves guy for life after that.
I really thought you would have at least a half sleeve by now.
Yeah, I would have too. I'm just so fucking cheap.
You're
On
not with
paper.
tattoos. You've had enough tattoos where you know.
Yeah, and I know how much like a sleeve would cost. And it's gonna be fucking a couple grand at least.
Okay, what's a sleeve for a guy with a fucking triple XL arm gonna cost you?
I mean, it depends how far down the arm you go, obviously, but
Say you go just a half sleeve. What's that gonna run you? $2,000 plus tip?
2,500 minimum.
God, I put
Some of this
1,000 down on my car. All right. So you're going Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think I just have to push back. I think I'm just gonna ride the I love Baker. I'm gonna ride the Baker train.
I just don't have that much faith in him.
I know. Watch. Just me saying that. Watch him go like he'll throw for like 130 yards and they lose like 40.
2 picks.
Yes, he's gonna throw at least 2 picks. Buffalo, Indy. Who you got?
I went Buffalo. A lot of questions on the Colts offense.
Yeah, it's Philip Rivers. You know.
Him being the main one. Their receivers aren't that good. They're average. I think the Bills' back end is pretty good of their defense. Back seven, really. And then I have here written down Josh Allen is the white Cam Newton. That's something that my guy Juwan James told me last year before he blew up. We played him last season, and that was what he always said. He played against him a lot in Miami. And I think since then he's kind of what he was, and he's kind of gone a level above that because he's such an accurate passer now that he's evolved into something even better.
How big is Josh Allen?
He's like legit 6'5".
Does he look? So he's taller than. So he looks you right in the face.
Yeah,
that's a big guy. Yeah, I saw a stat about Josh Allen. He was like a 50% completion guy in high school. In college,
right.
His first, 2-3 years in the league, 55%, and now he's 74% completion percentage. It's like, is he having the Cam Newton MVP Super Bowl year?
It seems like if he's the white Cam Newton, he's the white Cam Newton with fundamentals. You know what I mean? It looks like this year the difference for him is if you watch him in the pocket, he's always on balance when he's making a throw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Bills are fun for some reason.
Like, they're nasty.
Stephon Diggs, I think he has like 1,800 yards receiving. Like he's just
They might get John Brown back too, just for this game.
Yeah, didn't he have COVID and then he was sick with something else and
So you got him, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and I'm missing somebody. There's somebody else.
Cole Beasley's so old that he was Bo Levi Mitchell's roommate at SMU. That's how old he is. He's been in the league forever. And he's the only guy in the league that rocks short sleeve, like baggy sleeve. It's the worst look in the league. It's the worst look. It makes me so mad, dude. What are you doing? Don't have baggy fucking, it's like Billy Hoyle sleeves. You can't do that. It's so disgusting. Anyway. Yeah, I don't believe in Indy at all. I think Philip Rivers is just waiting to be a disaster. Jonathan Taylor is a guy who I had him on in both fantasy leagues. He was great. He was really bad. And then he had a surge. Then he fell off again. And then the last 5 weeks of the season, he was averaging like 140 yards a game on the ground.
Right. Yeah. They're the positives for the Colts is they're running games on late and their defense is really good. But unless they score 7 points on defense or something, they have no chance.
I think when you got guys like Josh Allen, you've got these guys who you used to. Okay, we're gonna rely on him not playing well. We know we're gonna get Josh Allen to complete 7 passes, 12 passes, and I think a guy like him now, it's like he's probably gonna be the third runner up in the MVP this year.
Decent chance.
Because I think it's going to go. I mean, by the way, who do you got? MVP, Rodgers or Mahomes?
Sure.
Yeah, you kind of got to give it to the old guy.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's done more with less.
Yeah, I mean, like compared to but that'll always be Mahomes' thing. It's because he's got so many weapons and they're so nice. Um, but yeah, and then it's weird again. It's like it's this popularity contest. Who's hot late? And I feel like, I mean, the Kansas City kind of slept. They didn't sleepwalk, but they kind of were like, we don't care enough. We'll win this game.
Had a couple dud games down the stretch, but they still got the win because they're so good.
Yeah, he made me fucking sweat my fantasy league, but I still won. So fucking fuck those guys. I got paid, and they withheld the money I didn't pay for the buy-in, even though I'm pretty sure I paid. But
Do you want to do Kansas City? You want to do anything on that?
so Kansas City. So is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this weird? Is this the first year they're doing that, where they go the Kansas City plays the lowest seed that wins?
There used to be two bye teams. Now there's only one. They added a playoff team.
Right. Okay. So now, yeah, and then so like say, I mean, yeah. So if Indy beat Buffalo, they would play Kansas City.
Right. Yeah.
So the lowest seed plays the one seed, depending on who wins. I mean, do you like that? I don't know. It feels like it's just a lot of moving. Maybe it's fair, I guess.
I do kind of like it. I like getting an extra playoff team in, and I like that the one seed is so competitive now.
Yeah, I mean, like but also,
Almost it just runs away with it.
It was kind of crazy in the NFC. We'll get to that in a second. But the NFC, the one seed came down to the last week, where it was like Seattle. It was like if someone else had lost, if Green Bay had lost, and Seattle would have gone from the 3 seed to the 1 seed.
Right.
But then
makes those week 16, 17 games a little more interesting.
Yeah, because I used to feel like it didn't matter. I feel like what was it? What were those Colts teams where they used to rest guys? They used to sit guys for like the last three games. It's like that's not.
Yeah. The fucking Eagles.
Fucking Eagles. All right, so let's go to the NFC. So we'll start. Let's start with the least interesting game. Let's start with New Orleans and Chicago.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bloodbath. I have written down where's Chicago's advantage. Do they have one? I think New Orleans defense is better at. You could call it a tie at the D line, but they're better everywhere else.
Chicago's weird because they had this defense that was it was pulling the offense. The defense was so nice, and then the last 2 seasons, I feel like the defense has just been not bad, but they were transcendent. They were the best defense in the league, and now they're just kind of like, they
seem
uninspired. And it's weird because I think a lot has to do with the QB thing. When you bring in a guy like Nick Foles and say, okay, Trubisky, you're gonna be the guy, and then they pull him or he got hurt, whatever it was, and then Nick Foles just shits the bed. He's just doing a Joe Flacco impression. And then you go back to Trubisky, and he's playing well, but again, it's just fucking it's Trubisky, dude.
Right.
You gonna bet on him in a playoff game?
No. Do I feel him being my quarterback in a playoff game?
Yeah, but Drew Brees is just a walking bag of bones. Yeah. I wouldn't – if they win this game, I'll pick anybody over.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get him in bad looks, really. That's the best thing I could say about him.
He is Peyton Manning. He's Peyton Manning that last season.
Right.
But I don't think this New Orleans team is – I mean –
it's actually kind of –
do you think this New Orleans team is better than the Denver team that won Peyton Manning's last year?
That's really tough to say. No. The defense isn't as good as that defense was.
The Denver team?
Yeah, that defense is fucking crazy.
But you could argue, but you don't think the offense is better in New Orleans?
I think it's –
Alvin Kamara is slept on, dude.
No, he's the best back in the NFL easily.
Okay,
maybe not easily, but if I was drafting a running back out of anybody in the NFL, he's going to take him.
You take him over Derrick Henry and Minnesota running back. What's his name? Dalvin Cook?
Yep.
Really? But you know that because crazy stat about Kamara is he's only ever had like 400-yard rushing games in his career.
Yeah, he's just so fucking versatile, though.
Is it not weird? Do you watch him when he runs and he runs like upright and he just like kind of like
It looks like he's running. Like it looks like he's not trying all the
yeah,
time.
he just like falls into the end zone. And just like
Just everything looks so effortless for it.
yeah, I saw a video of him doing some training shit in the offseason last year, and he had like a squat, not a squat bar. He had like a squat rack on his back, and he was walking up a hill, and then was also had a car around his waist. Just something. He's the kind of guy he's the kind of guy that walked. Remember when LaDainian Tomlinson they had that rumor that he squatted like 1,500 pounds, something like that, something insane.
I never heard that, but
You never heard that? Like there's like LaDainian Tomlinson can squat 1,000 pounds. That was the thing that they're talking about, how strong running backs were in the league, and he's a short guy. This is like peak LaDainian Tomlinson. And I remember like I think I was in high school, and you're in high school, you're like, well, fucking, I can squat fucking 330.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that. By the way, the LaDainian Tomlinson fucking 1,000 pounds.
I'm gonna look it up. I want to look it up right now because I remember this, dude. I remember this being a big thing where we all were like, wait, he can squat how much? Well, there was a video of Saquon Barkley. What was he doing? Didn't he like power clean like something insane, like 600 pounds?
Most I've ever seen in person was Marshall Yonda 750.
He power cleaned or squatted?
Back squatted. Legit though.
1,000-pound. Okay, 1,000-pound squat. Here it is. All right, Billy. Okay. I'm looking this up. You fucking talk about something because this is really important to me.
Yeah, so in New Orleans.
So stay with New Orleans. Are you okay? So let's go with this. Do you think that Drew Brees? Because I think the Bears are. The Bears are terrible. I don't think it means anything. They're going to smash the Bears, but I don't really trust Drew Brees in any other against anybody else, dude. He can't throw it down the field, dude.
I'm betting on everybody else on that team, basically. I think they're really good at when their O-line's healthy. They're probably the best one in football right now. Best running back. I felt like they kind of, outside of that, like whatever 5-6 touchdown game that Kamara had, kind of limited his touches later in the season, and then rested Michael Thomas down the stretch. So hopefully he'll be, healthy.
Yeah, Michael Thomas had a weird year where he got suspended for a game or two for he punched somebody.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like he was trying to blow it up to get out. Like it seemed like, didn't he like request a trade at one point?
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah, he was doing something weird. Yeah, I can't fucking find his name.
I remember he was losing his mind for a little bit, but
I'm gonna do one more.
I've heard he's just kind of like that type of guy, though.
Yeah, that's kind of a receivers. They don't give us a good fucking us like it was me and LaDainian Tom. No, me and Michael Thomas. We're just we're the same. LaDainian Thomas squat 1,000. I really want to know because I feel like this is a thing. Give me a fucking. I don't care what it is. I'm over it. Fuck it. Hey, he squatted 1,000 pounds. I just looked it up. All right. Okay. So
he was like 5'6", so
he was a short guy. So we both got New Orleans. Trubisky's trash.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, let's go Seattle, LA, because I think the Washington Tampa Bay is the most interesting game. I think Seattle and LA. There's no Goff.
Oh, is that for sure? That was the first thing I have written down. It's Jared Goff ?
I mean, dude, the guy, he had thumb surgery on his throwing hand.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess McVay's probably just posturing, trying to act like there's a chance he could play. Maybe. I don't know.
Are you a McVay guy?
To an extent. I don't think he's as much of a genius as everybody thinks, but I think his system, he knows what he wants out of it and how to run it.
Dude, it's almost he does kind of run an offense that you would run in Madden when you're just going like like there's 4 plays you run.
Right.
And no matter who you play, you get this look, we're running this. This look, check that. And it's literally just as easy as they stack it to the right, we're audible into the left. It feels like he's just running a lot of stuff. I do like what he does with his receivers though, where he ties everybody tight. It's that tight bunch thing.
That
where it's like everybody has space now.
Yeah, we were running that basically last year. Same thing. Good game, tight splits from the receivers.
But Seattle, Here's my take on Seattle. They had the whole let Russ cook campaign, right? We want Russ to be the MVP. All this love for Russ. And Russ, I feel like, bought into that too much, and he was trying to do too much. He's throwing insane numbers, but he's throwing a lot of picks. And then it was almost like Pete stepped in and said, "Hey, okay, so you're good. You got that out of the way. We've lost 3 of the last 4. Okay, so we're gonna go back to doing what we were doing." And we're going to grind out wins. It's going to be 17-20. We're going to win in the last minute of the game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt like Russ is kind of a streaky guy. Saw that pretty early in his career, I felt like, to an extent, and then it's kind of shown up again this year. If he's hot, the game's already over. Although, is Jamal Adams going to play in this game? Do we know that? I thought he got hurt last week.
He got banged up, but I want to say he finished the game still. I want to say I saw him come back in late, but maybe I'm crazy. I thought I saw him get banged up, but I thought he was okay.
Man, if Russ is on though with those receivers, I think
will
score enough points.
I mean, what's our excuse this year? I mean, our defense was bad early, but the defense has been playing a lot better in the last 5 weeks. I saw this thing about like we were giving up like 34 points a game through the first 6 weeks, and then we kind of evened out a little bit in the second half of the season. In the last 5 games, I think we were only giving up like 17, 20 points a game, something like that.
I don't really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just pulling that number out of my ass. I'm just gonna, dude. Most of the things that I say when it comes to numbers. Most of what I say when it comes to numbers is like I turn on ESPN in the morning and listen to Get Up for like 10 seconds, then I leave. Like, what do numbers say about Seahawks? I just think that. Well, do you not put Russ? Is Russ not in your top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now?
Oh, quarterbacks, yeah.
Top 3 quarterbacks in the league, not including MVP. So who you got? Patty Mahomes, Russ, and who's your third? Aaron Rodgers, okay. And you think that
give me A-Rod 1 though.
You just don't like Patrick Mahomes' hair. You're a racist.
Nah, I like Patrick Mahomes. I just think
Mahomes is Brett Favre, by the way. People are acting like they're like, we've never seen anything like this. He's doing Brett Favre.
Yeah, he's more athletic though. He's way more athletic.
Dude, I don't know, man. Look. Have you seen go back and look at young Brett Favre, him moving around the pocket? The guy could fucking skedaddle.
He could, but I don't know. I mean, they are the same guy. I will give you that.
I mean, Patty Mahomes is infinitely smarter.
Yeah.
But what do you think of? Do you watch these games and how all these guys? I was talking to Josh about this, and I was like, dude, is it just me, or is every fucking color guy just all they do is praise the quarterback? It's a constant. If Romo is in there, all he's doing is saying, wow, wow, wow. It's like fucking, we get it. Like, I don't need to. Can we talk about something else? Like, there was a play last year, or maybe it was early this year, where Patrick Mahomes, he was scrambling. And he looked back to see if like the flag was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up just like running out of bounds. And they showed it 50 times. Like, look, he's looking back to see if that flag is there because he would have made a different decision if the flag hadn't been thrown. It's like, they're great, but you can't just sit there and blow these dudes all game long and expect me not to be like, am I wrong? Am I wrong for fuck? Is that not annoying?
I hate when guys that don't know what they're talking about are doing it. I don't mind Romo so much because he gets so like detailed about it that it's I don't know. I'm pretty into it most times. He's also got games with good quarterbacks though.
Yeah, I guess Romo's a bad example because Romo's actually speaking true.
Well,
I think the other guys
Troy Aikman, though, cannot stand Troy Aikman.
Hey, who's worse on the call? Troy Aikman or Chris Webber?
Those are my 2 words. Sports. It's so bad. I'd say it's probably Chris Webber though. If we're being honest.
Webber is awful. He's so awkward and weird. And it's like he wrote. He has like a list, like a list of like inspirational things he wants to plug in at certain times.
Right.
I remember watching like when Mark Jackson was the head coach in Golden State, they would always have him mic'd up and they would always have a camera on their huddle. And every single time they'd have a timeout, he would try to say something inspirational. And I remember one time they did it and he called a timeout in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And he was treated like it was the end of Friday Night Lights. It's like, you're not Billy Bob. Just let him. They've got 80 games to go.
Right.
Fucking, what do you save it for when it matters? You're playing Memphis.
It's Tuesday.
You guys are hung over. Who is it? I think it was like Jared Dudley. I heard Jared Dudley on I think it was on Russillo, but he was talking about how they used to go out and they would go out and party. Maybe it was Raja Bell. Anyway, they're talking about how those guys would go out before, after games and knowing they had a game the next night. Are there NFL guys that are going out? Remember when Chad Eaton would talk to us in college about how they would go out on Thursdays and Fridays and shit and roll in Saturdays or even on Sundays kind of hungover? Was there any of that anywhere you saw in the league? You don't have to name names, but like, would you ever see any of that?
No, not for no. The only time would be like preseason, maybe.
I feel like everyone is so healthy now. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's
Where are the chain smokers, dude? Give me a guy who smokes cigarettes still.
I mean, there's some guys out there that are still pieces of shit, I'm sure. No, probably no smokers though.
Yeah, I mean, I think the NBA might be the only. I mean, baseball too, but those guys they're always fat. But I feel like the NBA. Like, look at Harden. Like Harden and these guys, some of them party, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Harden. I feel like Harden might not even be a guy who's necessarily drinking, but he's just out all night.
I don't know, man. I feel like he fucking just parties. He's just one of those guys who's just built. He's an Allen Iverson type.
He's so fat. You see how fat, and he still gave him 40 and 18.
Is that real?
He's
really that overweight.
He's so. You see that when he first came back after the COVID protocol stuff?
I thought it was just a bad picture, man.
No, dude, thick boy. And then his first game back, he gave him fucking 45 and 18. It was unbelievable. It doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what. If that's true, then I'm James Harden stock is rising in my book. If you're a little chubby guy and you're still getting dudes buckets, I can't help but like you a little more.
Dude, he's got his jersey retired at a strip club in Atlanta.
Yeah, he really is reaching legend status.
The 30 for dude, they're doing a Tony Parker documentary, like a 3-part Tony Parker documentary on Netflix comes out this month. I'm like, I do not care.
Who's that for?
Who is it for? He's French. We don't give a shit, dude.
Lars.
The most interesting thing about Tony Parker was that he cheated on Eva Longoria. That's when I had some respect for him. It's like, you're going to cheat on that bitch? All right, man. Who'd you fuck? Show me that one. It was so annoying. But the James Harden documentary will be it'd be unbelievable.
No, I'll watch that one.
Did you watch the Maradona documentary?
No.
It was a lot of it was subtitles, so I skipped through most of it because I didn't feel like reading. But it was basically about how he just never stopped partying. Like ever. Like he just died like a month or so ago. And they had videos of him drinking, like, cause he was a coach of one of a pro team.
Yeah.
And they have video of him like in the locker room after wins, just hammered.
Oh yeah.
At 65, shithoused.
Till the wheels come off, man.
You know what I think's gonna happen? And I think I've said this to you before. I think this happened for both of us. I think because we're kind of on the same trajectory of booze, and we still drink a little bit, but we don't go out there. We're not getting fucking blacked out like every weekend or like multiple nights a week. We don't do that anymore. But I think when we both start like getting married, having kids, I think it slows way down, like almost where we stop drinking. Not intentionally, but it's just like you're so busy, you don't have time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think right around like, I'm gonna say like mid 40s, kids start leaving, and then you start seeing us hitting the course. and we really start diving. Like, like when the wheels fall off a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh
Because
yeah.
old guys, when I was working in Boji, I remember there were old dudes on the course that drank every single day they came in there. Never seemed wasted. Just got a little bit louder, a little more chatty. But these guys were old. And it seems like older guys don't get hangover. Like you like almost age out of a hangover. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think they just fucking power through it, man. They're just like, yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't.
Just don't go too far, and then they know when to course correct, and then they just fucking wear that bitch.
Yeah, maybe. Because I feel like my hangovers now are pretty brutal, dude.
Those old tough bastards though are just those old school dudes are just like, yeah, kid.
Yeah, like, the kind of guys who are raised in like a foster home and then watch all their friends die in Nam, and they're like, "Oh, a hangover.
Yeah.
I'm fine." All right, so we'll go get back. We get back. So, all right, so that's Seattle, LA. I think uh, the Washington football team. It's so funny they're called that.
Yeah.
I think my stock in them's gone up I hope they just stay that. They're gonna call themselves like the Blue Eagles or some bullshit, and they'll be terrible. It'll be a stupid name. But all right, Denver, Tampa Bay. Who you got?
I went Tampa Bay,
Tampa Bay, but
but
you don't have any faith in Chase Young calling out Tom Brady?
do we know the Mike Evans situation? I thought he got hurt too last week.
And you hurt his hand or something?
I thought it was his knee, man.
Let me look it up. He's a tough dude. He's a tough motherfucker. I really like Mike Evans. He's the guy. Remember when he fucking just cheap shotted the shit out of that dude in New Orleans?
Yeah.
All right. So Mike Evans, yeah, you're right. Knee. He was spotted practicing today, though. Game time decision.
Okay.
He'll play.
Yeah. I mean, they've probably got enough at receiver anyway, even if he doesn't, but it's obviously a factor. I think this is a bad matchup for their offense, but I think Tampa Bay's defense is going to absolutely shut down probably Washington.
Okay, let me ask you this. What happens with these defenses where like Tampa Bay, their front seven was like, wow, look at these guys, look at these passers, look at these dudes up front. They're great and they play well, but then they have like these stretches where people put 40 on them. Like how does that happen? Is that something where it's like it's just a perfect storm of the other team's scheme, we didn't come to play? Like what happens where a defense who everyone's like, this is a top 5 defense, and then they get put 40 on them? Like what?
Yeah, I think a lot of times that shit happens. Well, first, Tampa Bay had some injuries right around the midway point of the season on their front seven. They lost like their big ass fucking 350-pound nose tackle, and I think one of the linebackers for a while. And then a lot of times, like, it's just a bad day at the office, you know what I mean? Where the offense also sucks. They're giving the ball away. You're not fucking stopping people on defense. And sometimes the game just gets away from you. You get ran.
Yeah, but don't you feel like whenever we talk about these great defenses, that never happened to those? All the hype that Tampa Bay had about their defense. And it's like you never saw, like, even when – like remember like the Pats defense from a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl, they were not getting 40 hung on. They might have a game where they 28 maybe 30 in a game, a close game. They won, but it makes me nervous, dude. Just seeing those games. I know they're getting hot late, but
stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for them because they play a lot of like 5-man fronts, and Washington's strength is running the football, and it's really difficult to run the football against 5-man fronts, obviously. And then when they get exposed, I think it's a lot of times it's in the back end. They're pretty aggressive defense. They're always bringing like rushing 5 guys or adding a blitzer or something. So I think the big plays can be there. That's another thing I've written down is are Washington's receivers good enough to make plays in the back end and hit them with explosive plays? That's going to really decide the game probably.
Yeah, who's that young guy in Washington who's just fucking filthy?
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, where's he from? He's nasty.
I don't even know.
I gotta look it up. Alex Smith. Who do you have more stock in right now? Alex Smith's leg or Tom Brady's ring finger?
Give me Tom Brady.
Give me Tom Brady. Dude, I get nervous watching Alex Smith play.
Yeah, I do too.
But then
I get nervous watching a lot of people play though.
who makes you the most nervous to watch play? And do you think is it because you think he's gonna break?
It's usually a combination. It could be a lot of different factors. It could be like who they're playing and how good his protection is. It could be, in the case of Carson Wentz, his inability to throw the ball away, or guys like Alex Smith who you're just worried about physically.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, remind me at the very end of this, we're gonna go over do a little quarterback carousel because I think a lot of guys are gonna move around this offseason. I'm interested to see what you think. And adding in with the draft picks, like I'm looking at these guys like Darnold and Wentz, and then the two guys coming up. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I mean the Tom Brady thing right now is, by the way, McLaren went to Ohio State, which I feel like I don't know why I thought he was a smaller school. I don't remember him at Ohio State.
I don't either, but
yeah. Antonio Brown. When he was, it's so weird to see him. You remember when like Tracy McGrady, towards like not the end of his career, the very end of his career, but like there was that time where he was in Houston, and they had that run. They won like 23 straight games, and T-Mac was awesome.
Yeah,
and they were the number one seed, I think, in the West, and then they ended up losing like the second round or whatever it was. But then the next year, he kind of just like stopped seeing him. You're like, he's not that old.
Yeah.
He moved. I know Antonio Brown has all the off the field stuff, but it's like, wait, dude, you were probably the best receiver in the league for like 4 years. And that was a year and a half ago.
I mean, I just got to assume the rust factor's got to be real. He did have like an 8-game suspension, right, to start the season. Really, he's only like midway through his season. You know what I'm saying? But he is also he's in his early 30s now. You know, probably falling off a little bit. Probably a combination of all three things, really.
He's got some mileage on him. I love that Tom Brady threw him like 4 straight shovel passes to get him his bonus. You see that?
Yeah, I heard that. That's a real homie.
If you don't know, if you're, because I think some people listening to this podcast have no idea how sports work, but a lot of times in the NFL, if you have these bonus marks you can hit, like if you're like a defensive player, like if you have this many interceptions, you get a bonus. If you have this many sacks, you get a fucking bonus. Antonio Brown had a thing where I think if he had, 40 catches on the season, he got an extra like $250K or something tacked on. And it was the last game of the regular season, and he needed to get like 7 catches, and he only had 3. So the last drive, Tom Brady called 3 straight shovel passes, which is like it's a forward lateral, literally.
Right, just the speed option or whatever, not even speed option.
I love that, dude. I feel like it's so much harder. Like imagine, it's frustrating though, I bet, if you're a defensive guy and you have to get like 2.5 sacks to get a mil. And then Antonio Brown just needs Tom Brady to fucking pitch him the ball 3 times and he gets his fucking bonus check.
Yeah.
By the way, your boy, Kyle Hendricks, the guy from the New Orleans guy, ended the season number 3 in sacks. So earlier when we had this conversation, you said he was trash. He actually finished the year number 3.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
14.5.
I don't get it, man.
What does he do? Okay, let me ask you this.
The shit out of people. That's all
when you see these guys that are like, when you see pass rushers, right? I feel like there are guys that are just Von Miller is just the best athlete and incredibly skilled.
Just different. He's just different. He's on a whole other level.
But then what's a guy like Kyle? How's he doing in this? What he's doing? Is it a scheme thing? Is it a technique thing?
I will say some guys just know their own skill set so well, and also like play within the scheme so well that they know like how to maximize their impact really well within the scheme. And that's probably what I imagine is going on. He's probably getting a lot of one-on-one looks, and he just knows he's fucking manned up on this dude. It doesn't matter if he wins late; he's just gonna win.
How often? Because what do they say about defensive guys? Like they said that they can know in the first like 3 steps if they're getting to the quarterback. The first like 2 steps. Is
Yeah, I
that
mean,
real?
probably true for. It's probably less true for a guy like him who's so much like a power rusher. But
Mm.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's just funny because I feel like they talk about certain like defensive guys like the front line. They know like, oh yeah, like they can't go 100% every single play. That's what they always say. Like you're not you do take plays off because the
Yeah.
game is so long and you have so many snaps and you're out there forever. How
Right.
how often when you're playing do you feel when a guy's taking a play off? Like
Oh,
can you tell?
for sure. A lot of times they know beforehand, like based on like down and distance or formation or whatever, they know a lot of the time, like to a certain percentage, where the ball's going to go, and if they can kind of just do their job on this one versus go balls to the wall.
how much how much talking is there in a game between not between you and the other team? How much is it? Because like there's so much dead time. I think what's that stat they always say? There's only like 5 minutes of actual play of an NFL game or something like that. Everything else is just in between the
Right.
snaps. How much talking is there with the other
Um,
team? How much shit talking or just like, hey, how's your kids? You know?
it's probably a team by team kind of thing. A lot, teams. Some teams talk more, some teams talk less. But overall, probably less than you would think. Honestly, most of these dudes are just like been doing it for so long. They're just fucking out there doing their job and trying to fucking focus.
That's so interesting to me that every job at some point just becomes a job.
There's certain dudes that are like, that's just what they do. Like, I know Jerry Hughes for the Bills. He's a pass rusher. Like that dude just talks shit non-stop.
Just
And
can't turn it off.
there's certain dudes like that. Brandon Graham with the Eagles, same way. Uh,
Okay, give me okay now. All right, so that's all the matchups. Now I got some stuff I want to bounce off you. This is all football related. Let's go. We don't have to talk anymore about shampoo or your haircut.
Sounds
But
good.
who is the craziest guy? Like, and I'm not saying, and yeah, there's the on the field persona, but who are the guys that are consistently like in the way that their day to day? It's like because I'm picturing like in Major League, the fucking Serrano, he's like burning, like he's like burning fucking. He's got Joe Boo in his locker and he's
Okay.
worshiping. Like I get that's like the highest end of crazy. Who are like the guys you're like, or what's something you saw? You don't have to give names, I guess, of like, okay, that guy's might be a maniac. That guy's a lunatic.
Are we talking like we're talking like scary crazy?
Yeah. Is there any other kind?
There's like weird crazy.
Well, okay, well, if you have, give me one of each.
Let's see. Scary crazy is probably. I mean, James Harrison, Marquise Pouncey, probably the scariest dudes I know.
Well, James Harrison, he's that great commercial where he's like chasing the
Yeah.
guy down. He is great. I saw he did it like a ESPN the magazine article where he like has a house in Arizona where he like trains because it's
Right.
the hottest point in America or something crazy.
He's
And
just yeah.
there was a rattlesnake by his kid, and he killed a rattlesnake with his bare hands. And
That dude, you look like that in the eye, and you're like that guy looks like he could murder somebody.
what are these dudes? You know how that you see these things where like guys have games and then they go and they get a lift after the game. You know, you see like NBA guys do that a lot now, or they're
Yeah.
working out almost during the game. What is that about? Why are you doing that? What's the benefit? Or is it just like they have to get their lift in for that week?
Yeah, I think for NBA guys, that's a lot of what it is just to maintain like muscle mass through the season. They're on the road so much they just have to do stuff like that.
Okay, so James Harrison's a crazy guy. Give me like they're crazy scary. Give me like a weird thing. Like, what was the weirdest thing you saw? Or was like, okay, dude, what do you like? Did you just fucking rub shit on your nose? Like, wait, what's happening? Oh,
Uh,
and okay, think about that one. Side question: uh, How violent are smelling salts? I never did smelling salts ever.
I mean, it's like have you ever like eaten too much horseradish?
Yeah.
It's like that, but like times 10 probably.
So what's the benefit? What is it? Is it just clearing your, what's it supposed to do? I know nothing. I should know what it does. I have no idea what smelling salts do.
Like, if you have like a stuffy nose, you can just like use that to clear it up. But also, it just like makes me feel like a crazy person.
Wait, no.
It makes me feel like I can headbutt a brick wall and feel nothing.
Did I ever tell you that story when I did poppers at that gay bar?
Yeah, sure did.
All right. Well, people that haven't heard the story, you're gonna hear it again. But I didn't know what poppers were. Apparently, I knew of them, and apparently, you know what they are.
I mean, barely.
Well, so poppers are like they're it's nitrous oxide, in a version of it, right?
Okay.
Maybe that's the incorrect name for it. But what you do is you take it, and gay dudes use it for anal. Like that's because it literally, like, the way that the smelling salts clear your sinuses, it just opens their asshole up. Like that's what it does. It's supposed to just relax you, but apparently, like, it does insane amount of damage to your nervous system. Like, it's insane. Jesus. And I was in a fight with my ex at the time, and I went to the closet. Shout out the closet, and best gay bar ever. And I was in there, and I was talking to this dude, and this dude was like very nice to me. And gay bars are like, the rules are different. You know what I mean? You know, like in most, like in a sports bar, it's like, hey, don't bring your drink outside. You know, in gay bars, it's don't bring condoms here. Like, you know, there's just like weird rules. But everyone just kind of does drugs in the open, apparently. And this guy pulled out this popper, and poppers are literally, they look like 5-hour energy things, like all black canisters. And what you do is that you open it up, and then you just smell, and then close it immediately. Otherwise, the gas gets out. So the guy's like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was hammered. I was like, yeah, I'll fucking do it. Fucking let's fucking ride, man. Let's ride. And this guy, like, he's like, put your head back, and he opens it up, and it was so funny. The guy on the other side of me, who I wasn't talking to, just knew what we were doing. He plugged my other nostril. So he went like this. This other dude puts this under my nose, and he's like, just breathe in with your other side. And dude, I shit you not, I go here, come back, and your boy has a couple hands on his ass. I got a sweet pooper. I understand it, but I was like, guys, that was really cool. Let's never do it again. So that's my parallel to smelling salts. All right, but let's go back to, like, as I just said, like, as we're talking about, like, hey, what's a weird thing like an NFL guy did, and I just tell a story about getting, like, molested.
Right. Like, completely distracted. I forgot I was supposed to be thinking about that.
All right, go. So give me something. Like, what was the weirdest thing you saw? And you don't have to give me names if you don't want to.
Oh man, there's just a lot of fucking characters, man. Just everybody's got something weird. You know, there's some flat earth guys, some real conspiracy theory guys in the NFL. A lot of kooks.
Flat earth guys? You got a bunch of Kyries running around?
Just everybody's got their own thing, man. There's some fucking characters.
Do guys ever corner you, or is it more of they're just kind of having an open conversation about it?
It's for sure. It's an open conversation. That's what's fun about that. It's just people will just get in heated debates about some stuff and just have each talking completely out of their ass, and I'm just sitting there laughing the whole time, just watching.
I do miss that part of it so much, because I remember when we first got to Eastern, and like I was the new guy, you were a new guy, but like I'd been there for like maybe a month or two longer. So I was there earlier in summer, or I got there for spring ball, and you came in the summer. Yeah. And I remember, I think it was even before you got there, but Vern and I, like, I knew him, but we weren't like buddies or anything. And he came up to me one day in the locker room. He's like, "You eat ass?" Like, that was his opener. And I was like, "You fucking better believe I do." Like, you better. He's like,
my question.
He's like, "Fuck, you're nasty." I was like, "Yeah." And then other guys were like, "Wait, what?" And then it took one other dude. I think it was like D'Lo Tucker. Some other guy was like, "No, I do too. It's the best." And it was like taboo. People were like, "You shouldn't. I don't know if you should be doing that." And now everybody's doing it. So I want to be out here and be like, I was eating ass in 2006 before I could drive a car, dude. I'm an ass-eating pioneer, and no one ever gives me the respect that I deserve when it comes to this. And I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I really am really passionate about this.
I know you've been there.
Yeah, I have been there.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to. And then you let them eat your ass at least once, just so you see what the other side of it looks like, and you're like, well, this is pretty cool. I don't eat it every day, you know. It's like a Reese's fast break, a king size one. It's like I love them, but I don't need to have it every single day. Anyway, let's go power rankings. All right, we're gonna go power rankings. I've done this. This is the third week of power rankings. It's jerk off versus sex power rankings. So give me so it's like my first week I did this. It was jerk off was number 1, sex number 2, because I just got tested and I was like, I had flying colors. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm not in a hurry to get back. I'm kind of going to enjoy this grace period of being on the right side of not having an STD. And then last week I had like a sex date planned, and then she ended up, so I was gearing up for that. So I was like, okay, sex has now jumped back to the number 1 spot, jerk off number 2.
Right.
And as of today, I have another sex date with the same girl. We've rescheduled for tonight, but I jerked off last night. So I have this sex date, but I'm kind of at a stalemate. Right? I don't know. I'll decide after you go. Give me right now. You go first. What's 1? What's 2?
Let me get some build up here. I spent the last most of December living in a hotel room with a lot of free time. It's quarantining,
Yep.
Jerked off a lot.
You have to. No choice. In a hotel room? Mm-hmm.
Then I came home, got back with the fiance, and I'm going to go ahead and put sex number 1.
You got to pipe the old bag a couple times and get you back right. That keeps you sane. It keeps you sane. You got to pipe the old bag. And, okay, but so you've been having a lot of sex. That's great. Congrats on that.
Congrats on the sex, yep.
You know how they used to say with boxing, you don't have sex before a fight? They're like, it's going to it builds your testosterone up. But now they've said in the last couple years, it's the inverse. Like Ronda Rousey did this whole thing. Ronda Rousey said that for women, you have more sex because it gets your hormone levels up for women. And then they were like, well, men have testosterone. So if you're coming more, you're not losing testosterone. You're actually staying fucking, yiked up. So you're they recommend, like Mike Tyson's like, I'm fucking all the time. So they stay at 11. They just keep on banging their way pre-fight, and then they go and fight. Since you're having a lot of sex as compared to maybe a guy getting ready for a big fight, do you feel like you stay in that zone, or you hit a critical mass and you're like, God, guys, I'm out of cum. Just leave me alone.
I haven't run out yet, so that's good news.
Yeah, that's your problem right now.
Yeah, that is my problem actually.
Kids got too much cum.
Fuck, now I forgot what the question was.
The question is, you already answered it. You answered the question. So you are sex 1, jerk off 2, but that could change at any moment. You go back on the road, it'll be back to sex. Okay, so close it out. I think because I have to, because I'm probably going to have sex tonight. I think I gotta put.
Man, even the chance has got you, bubbling.
And I don't want to come in there with a bad attitude. I don't want to come in there thinking I'm better than her because I beat off last night.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. This week, sex 1, jerk off 2. Fucking great. We did it. All right, brother. Thanks for coming on. We'll link up, and then I'm not gonna hang up just yet. I'm gonna say we're gonna have the end of it, hey, dude, have a good day, and then I'm gonna keep talking to you for a second. All right. So good work. This is gonna come out tomorrow because
I don't care.
It's gonna come out Friday. I'm gonna make you post about it because you have no choice. All right, we did it. We'll see you later. Eat shit. Love you, big dog. Talk to you soon. Don't hang up. All right, what's going on, man? Are we gonna get a rep in? Oh, you hung up.